Cowboy here, guys. Welcome in. Today we're going to be doing a no-nonsense guide on this boss right here, the Looming Shadow, also known as Vikram Rajan. I've been hearing he's giving a lot of people trouble, so we're going to be busting down with a no-nonsense guide for you guys. Everything you need to know, starting with what ships I would recommend, armor, weapons, etc. Now, boat-wise, I recommend if you're soloing this, I recommend you use the cutter or the bark or the baroque, whatever you want to call that. If you're going as a DPS, guys, I would recommend the cheesy gordita crunch wrap if you have this boat. I don't have this boat yet, so I can't show you guys any gameplay with that. But have no fear, guys. Any boat will work. Just use piercing weapons. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what weaponry you should be choosing. Now, for your bow and your stern, the front and the back of your boat, guys, you're gonna want to go with a long gun. All the long guns, other than the repaired long guns, have piercing on them, and piercing is one of the most important parts of this fight. You need it for breaking his shields, you need it for breaking his literal health bar thing, and so forth. So it's very important with mechanics, and long guns are the best at it. So piercing on your bow and your stern, I recommend Divine Thunder. La Piqueray is really good as well. Divine Thunder is going to outperform if you're hitting weak spots, but if you're just trying to break the bubbles quickly, guys, La Piqueray is probably the best thing. You can run this, it's a furniture piece called the Plaguebringer's Ward. It's right... Oh, they moved it on me. Right here. Increases or reduces reload time by 15%, increases damage by 8%. So that'll actually bump up that La Piqueray for you as well. In terms of all deck weapons, guys, these are weapons that aren't going to just use the top deck. They're going to use the mid deck as well. So they're going to have more gun ports. There are two that come to mind. False Ilse. Piercing 3 does pretty good damage. It's a shotgun. It's close range only. Or Basilisk. Personally, I prefer the Basilisk because it lets you have a lot of range, which provides more utility, but do what you guys are comfortable with. It also has Raider, which is going to lead to more crew attacks. If there's a lot of people present at the event, guys, remember, crew attacks scale with max health. The more people that are present, the larger the max health. Therefore, if you've got like 10 people at this event, you hit a crew attack on this boss, you're going to be hitting him for like 150,000 damage. Moving on, let's talk about, there actually is, I lied, one more weapon I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's a bow weapon, guys. It's called Bane of the Ten Suns. Now, this basically, it's a ballista bolt that penetrates all targets, multiple targets. Each target it penetrates, it deals 50% more damage to the next one. The bubbles that he summons, those little domes, each count as a entity. So when you penetrate multiple of those with this, you're actually going to be cranking him for like 8 to 10k damage on a ballista, which is insane. And if you're not using the ballista, guys, there's no cooldown on the fire rate. It's just like infinite reload. You just have to charge. That's the only thing. So you can charge for up to 400% damage, and really knock him over with that. It's very, very strong for this fight, guys. That was made for this fight. In terms of auxiliary weapons, guys, mortars are out of it for this fight. Don't use mortars. If you're DPS, use the Termites 3. This has piercing on it. Remember, piercing is the bread and butter of this fight. That's why you use this. This helps you break his shields really, really fast so that you guys can just clear his health and get him out of there. If you are a support player in this fight, guys, Little Grace is going to be the bread and butter. You could potentially use a healing mortar, but with how the domes randomly spawn, guys, Little Grace, I just think you have much better luck with. This is a heal over time buoy, and it's very effective in this fight. If you use Blightkeeper, you're trolling. Get out of my video. I don't want you here. In terms of whole armors, guys, this one is probably the best thing that you could use. While bracing, reduces the duration of negative status effects by 10% of their maximum duration every second. Now, that damage over time effect, it's really, really strong that he puts on you guys. That only starts at about 40% duration, and so you should be able to clear that within 4 or 5 seconds of blocking. Now, how you get this whole armor, guys, if you're unfamiliar, you need to come into the Shipmaster. You go into your battle pass, go into the Shipmaster section. It's going to be the level 10 reward. This is insane because this is just a get out of jail free card for like the boss's worst mechanic. There are a couple other options if you don't have that, guys. I recommend the Black Prince. Very strong, keeping you alive through that dot, especially if you just need to wait till your repair gets off cooldown or your restoration gets off cooldown. If you're playing a Badar or a Brigantine, this armor right here is really, really strong. When you ram, you get a heal for 100% of the damage you do. I don't need to talk about why that's good, but you won't be able to get this for another week because we don't have a Putrefied Lestari until next week, so do be cautious of that. Immortal Vessel's good if you're new to this event. You're going to die a couple times more than likely. And then another notable thing, I couldn't tell if it was placebo or not, but I was thinking that the Wailing Ward actually was helping take about 50% less damage from that damage over time effect. But you guys test this out. Let me know in the comments what you think. And those are really all my recommendations for armor. Now, if you guys do use the Black Prince, it's not going to keep you alive unless you're one of those cutters or bark ships, but you can run the bark or cutter with Rigging Station and Black Prince. And when you get in that execute low health threshold, you should pretty much, I won't say you're unkillable, but you'll have a lot of time bought to get your repair kits back off cooldown or get your repair buoy back out. Now let's go ahead and talk about the mechanics real quick, guys. Now I am going to edit this down so you guys don't have to watch me solo this boss for 15 minutes, but we're going to break it up into 3 phases, guys. Now phase number 1, it's going to be business as usual. You just roll up on this guy, you start DPSing him. If you can help it, do avoid damaging the weak spots. You're going to want to save that burst damage that you get for destroying those for when he's in phase 2, because phase 2 can be very dry and boring, and you just want to excel him into phase 3 where he can take permanent weak spot damage. Now at a certain point in phase 1, he's going to summon these buoys. Don't worry about the buoys, guys. They're going to generate this force field around him. Just sail into the force field. It doesn't damage you. It doesn't do anything. All it does is absorb projectiles. So just get in there with him and keep DPSing him. You'll save yourself maybe 40 minutes to a minute in killing buoys and chasing him down and this and that and the other. While you're in there, guys, it's okay if you hit weak spots. Just remember, try to avoid it. Now, you are going to sink him. You need to move right away when you do. That's going to send him into phase 2, and he's going to pop up where you sunk him, and if you're above him, you're going to get sunk. Now, you will notice that these big monolith-looking towers spawn throughout phase 2 and 3. Don't worry about them, guys. Completely ignore them. They do a little bit of damage. If you see AoEs underneath your boat, just go ahead and block, brace, whatever you got to do. They're not going to kill you, but they're not worth your time to go kill. Similar to the buoys, they're gonna instead of generating a force field, they're going to actually fill up that little health bar above the boss's head with like a shield, but that shield is susceptible to piercing damage, which is why we have piercing weapons on our auxiliary, our long guns, our basilisks, our demi cannons, whatever you're using. Make sure you guys have piercing weapons, because you'll be able to melt right through that shield in about 30 seconds, which is about the time it takes to kill a couple monoliths. So in reality, you're saving yourself 2 to 3 minutes by just ignoring them. Now, probably the most annoying mechanic in this fight, and I think the thing that most people struggle with because they don't understand there is not much counterplay for it, is the damage over time effect that we have going on in the bottom left part of our screen right now. This little like biohazard effect, it's very, very frustrating. So you can kind of watch the boss's health bar, and you see the little green biohazard status effect. When that fully charges and that fully goes green, he's going to do this like fart cloud he releases, and that's going to affect you with that damage over time effect, and it stacks up to, I think 5 is the highest I've ever seen it. You want to purge it around 3. At around 3 stacks, it's going to do more damage than your little grace can continuously out heal. If you're not a healer, guys, you kind of want to just purge it on cooldown. There is a trick you guys can use, again, regarding that Battle Pass armor. Just brace for 4 seconds with that Battle Pass armor on that clears the status effects, and that thing should be gone in about 4 seconds. And in case it was not clear, when I say clear the status effect, I'm talking about a restoration kit. Now, the last thing we're going to have to deal with in Phase 2 is going to be periodically he summons in suicide bombers, same as like La Peste or a couple of other bosses. They're just little tiny ships rigged up with explosives. You can hear them coming. They do like Mongolian throat singing as they approach. They're not going to kill you. They're not as bad as La Peste's bombers or anything like that, but they do about half of my health. Now, Phase 3 is all the mechanics we've already talked about, but there's just the added mechanic of the boss starts to like float up in the air, and he'll pulse that wave that sends out that damage over time status effect more and more frequently. You can cancel this by breaking his shield and then shooting his weak point while he's in the air. The weak points constantly regenerate. There are these 4 little tusks that are like under him. Just shoot those, just break those. You'll cancel his mechanic. You'll do a lot of damage to him. and then he'll say, "Oh no, how could this be?" And then you kill him. All right, guys, and that's really all the mechanics there. It's pretty straightforward. Just kind of master all that, and the most important thing is just manage your health, right? Now, it's important if you don't come prepared and you don't bring the right stuff, such as a cutter and a little grace yourself. Make sure there is going to be a healer present at the event that can keep you up. Now that's all I got for you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment. I'm doing a giveaway right now. 250 subscribers, 500 subscribers, 750, and 1,000. I'm doing a giveaway for my subs. I'm going to be giving away everything in my stash. I won't really dig into that anymore, guys. But just comment to be eligible, and good luck. If you guys like the content, please check out my channel. I will be putting out a lot of builds this season and updating them as we get more and more new items. So next 3-4 days, expect to see whatever the best builds are at the start of the season, and then about halfway through I'll update them to be halfway through season 4 best builds, and then I'll do end of the season what was the best builds of season 4. But definitely check out the end of the season 3 builds, guys. It's going to be the 3 best builds in season 3. There's some pretty good stuff up there. I'm currently rolling everybody with my barge build in hostile takeovers. I've even destroyed like many a sandbook, many a sloop, I mean, you name it. Nobody has sunk me except for one sandbook. I was AFK tabbed out. He got the better of me. But I came back and I whooped him 3 times after. So